Welcome back to MVM. We have a Kickstarter preview today for a game called On Tour. This is a new roll and write that is a theme that we haven't seen really in too many games. There's some music-themed games out there. This one has you trying to schedule the tour of a rock band across the country here. Today I have Ryan here. As you can see, I'm on the wrong side of the table. So Ryan is filling in for me. I'm filling in for Jeremy.
That's right. Yeah, and this is a roll and write, like you said, but it does also use a card element. So you're flipping cards over every turn that kind of helps determine which actions you can take. So it's not just straight rolling dice.
So everyone's going to start with this cool player board in front of them. This is the entire country. However, it doesn't have every single state on here. There's 41 state cards out in front of everybody on the board. That's the main other component in this game. 41 states, some of the New England states are all kind of grouped into New England. The other important thing about these cards, as you can see here, they're going to have a region over in the lower left-hand corner and the actual state name in the lower right-hand corner. When these come up, we'll explain these in a second, but it's going to dictate, or like Ryan said, kind of guide you a little bit as to where you can write on your player board. So, at the beginning of the game, everyone is going to, someone's going to roll the dice. Ryan, why don't you do the honors?
Let's go ahead.
Then we're going to flip over a card. Ryan's rolled a 2 and a 5. Now, it's not just a 25, it's not just a 52, it's both in this case. You're going to flip over one card off the top of the deck. That's the state of Kentucky in this case. During setup, you're going to take the lower version of those numbers, so 25 in this case, and everyone's going to write that in the Kentucky space. Then you're going to flip over the next card and write 52 in Pennsylvania. You're going to do this one more time with 2 cards, so 4 cards total. So everyone's going to have the same numbers in the same locations to start the game.
Right, and it gives you not only the same start, but it also gives you a puzzle that you kind of have to solve. Because the goal of the game is to kind of trace your way through these cities, and now you have these set numbers that you don't get to choose that are going to kind of determine how you build your path.
Yeah, you want to basically build a path in ascending order of numbers. Now, this doesn't need to be from right to left or left to right. It just needs to be a continuous line, and the next location has to be equal to or greater than the number prior to it. So you can have it in the middle of the country, over on the right in the east or in the west, or all the way across the country is going to score you a lot of points. So once you've set up the game like that, you're going to start each turn, and the turns are very, very simple. You're going to take the cards that you used at the beginning, put them out of the game. Then you're going to flip over 3 cards as we have right here and roll the dice one more time. You're basically going to do this turn after turn, but this is how the turns differ from the beginning. You're going to take those numbers just like you did before. Ryan just rolled a 37 or a 73, and then you look at the 3 state cards. We've got a north, south, and a central, and Illinois, Texas, and Wisconsin. So you're going to be able to choose this time. You're not forced into one particular state, but you do have to follow those region cards. So you take a 37 or a 73 and you can put it anywhere in the north side of the board or in the south side of the board or in the central region of the board in this case. However, if you also follow the state, you're able to circle that state. So in this case, I have central Wisconsin. I could put a 37 in Wisconsin. This is going to allow me to circle it like that. At the end of the game, if any circled number is part of your route, it's going to score you double points or 2 points.
That's right. And what's worth noting is that you can only use each of these cards once. So if you put a 37 in Wisconsin, then central is out. When you're spending your 73, you have to go to the south or the north sides of the board.
Exactly. And once everyone has done that, you're going to wipe these 3 cards, bring 3 more cards out, roll the dice again, and repeat turn after turn until you've got nearly all of the board completely filled. Now, there's a couple things you need to keep in mind as you do this. One is the puzzle that you're doing here. You don't want to, you can get yourself in trouble for sure in this game. If you're about halfway through this game, you'll realize once you've put a lot of low numbers in one area, you've almost effectively built a wall that you can't get past.
That's right.
So once you've learned that, you're going to strategically be placing numbers. So you're not always going to want to place a number in the exact city to get those double points. You're going to want to put them in regions so that it gives you some flexibility. Now, there is some things that can happen with the cards that change things up a little bit.
There's some special instances that might occur. One of those being if all 3 of these cards in the center are of the same region. So
right.
3 central, 3 south, whatever. If that happens, you don't even worry about the dice. You get to put a star on your board.
Yeah, in any city. So it's kind of a good thing.
In any city of that region.
Right.
If you do follow one of the 3 cities listed, you still get to circle it. Yeah, but stars are great because they're wilds. So as you're making your path, you don't have to quite worry about exactly what number that's going to be.
Yeah, but you also can't count on those coming up because, like Ryan said, you have to have 3 of the same region cards out there. There is one other way that will happen, though, and that's if you roll doubles on the dice. So if you roll doubles on the dice again, you can put a star in a city, again, following the region cards that are out there and potentially the city cards in order to circle it or put it in whatever particular region you want to.
And you kind of might be hoping some of those stars come up, but it is a gamble. Because you could go through a whole game with only 1 or 2 stars, but then other games you might have 5 or 6.
Yeah, the first game we played, we only had 1 star come up in the whole time. So if you've created a nice big route and you have that 1 space that's left for one particular number and you need that star or that number, you might get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, there is a fair bit of randomness in that. You can't really wait and hope. You've kind of got to do the best you can do with what you get, really.
Yeah, this is a very straightforward roll and write. There's not a lot of... It's one big puzzle that you're trying to solve here. And like I said, once you've played one game of this, you're going to start to understand, you're going to appreciate the idea of what you need to do in the next game that you play.
Yeah, I guarantee you're going to play your second game a lot different than you play your first game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is the case with most games, but this one in particular, it took me a minute to realize, oh, you basically understand how you can screw yourself up, and then you can correct that in the second game.
Right. You start thinking of it like a deck of cards, and you think, oh, well, there's got to be a 25, a 26 that comes up eventually, but you might go through the whole game without that. So you have to learn to like leave big spaces, not necessarily just small spaces in between your numbers.
Right. So like I said, you're going to be doing this round after round until you've gotten to the point where there's only 2 state locations on your board left. At that point, you're going to roll the number, but you're going to disregard any of the cards that are being dealt out. And mid-game, you might have to reshuffle these cards and keep going with the cards in the deck. But at this point, you're going to just take the number and place those numbers in whatever 2 cities, however you like, that are left on your board. After that, you're simply going to score. And scoring can take a little bit because you're going to be looking at your entire board. But like we said earlier, what you're effectively going to be doing is connecting your longest route, starting from a low number and going high. And it has to basically be equal to or greater than the number previous to it. So you can have a 4 and then connect that to a 4 and then a 5, 6, 7, 7. But again, these things might, the dice go from basically 1 all the way to 99 potentially. So you can have a big long stretch across the country.
But you're going to get duplicates for sure. And by the end of the game, this entire board's going to be filled.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not skipping spaces. I mean, every state has to either be the same or go up 1. So when you're looking at the board, if you did things right, or at least if you understood what you were doing as you were playing, you might immediately look and see, oh, here's my longest route. But if you do what I did and make a bunch of mistakes, then you're trying to just figure out where can I even salvage a route out of what's left on my board.
Yeah, I think the key, when I play this again, I think the key will be having one route that I'm building safely and comfortably, and then going a little more ambitious elsewhere to see what happens, but then always having that one to rely on.
Yeah, the safety route.
So that is On Tour from designer Chad Deshawn. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And as always, follow us on Facebook, like us on Twitter, whichever way that is. And thanks for watching.